it's so much nicer being inside. So I'm back at home, and I'm gonna crack on with this. Now, I do know that you're supposed to just keep the deck soil going. You know, once you start putting it on, you're supposed to just keep putting it on. But one, I ran out of time in the day to do that, and two, it didn't soak in quick enough. But now you can see it has soaked in. So I'm going to put a little bit more on and see if it will soak any more in. So there it is, another coat on. I think it's okay. It's definitely soaking in places. So we'll just keep going until it sort of doesn't take any more on. So that is kind of dried. It's been about 24 hours. So I think I'm going to put a bit more on. See if we can keep going with it, because the more you get on, the better. You can see if you put water on there, it just rolls off now. And it doesn't soak into the wood at all, look. So I think we've got enough on there. So yeah, that's that done. We'll see how it goes, you know, and then we can always make a new one if we need to. It didn't take much to make it, and there's loads of improvements as well I could make on this. So I don't know how much of this you can see on the camera because it's sort of black on black here. But this is the spray cover, and this is the starboard. Let's bring it down here a bit, actually. This is the starboard side of it. And this is the bow that you kind of can't see there. And this is the starboard piece of wood. So what we're going to do, we need to stick this on. Now, the reason we're going to stick this onto the wood is, number one, to kind of seal this so there's no gaps in it. But the more important reason we're doing that is because it will give it a little bit more tug resistance. You know, and hopefully that will mean we can minimise the screws we need to put in. Now, we've got one little issue here. Of course, when it's on the boat, there's a curve. So you can see that it's actually the wood that needs to be a little bit curved. So I was hoping there wouldn't be such a curve, but look at this, you can see it here. So ideally we need this wood to have something underneath to be screwed into that we can sort of push it and tension it. So we're going to have to go find a piece of wood that will kind of fit along here, and this doesn't need to be wide, it only needs to be sort of that wide. So I'm going to go do that now, and then we can come in here and we can stick this down. Okay, so I've not got any wood that long, so I'm just going to screw it into the floor here. I think it's going to be fine. So the other thing I realised is this screw over here doesn't actually go into the cover at all. But if I fix it with the screw there and fix it with the screw the other end, I should be able to push this, screw them down, which is kind of what you're doing on the boat. Otherwise, they're just going to be the wrong shape. So, yeah. Gosh, this boat has got curves. That's one thing for sure. And you don't need much. And you do have to be careful with this PVC. It's not very thick. So don't want to be overzealous with the sandpapering. This is one more solvent smell to add to my office because it's just so cold. I've just had to do everything in here. Last year I heated up, my garage to do that. I mean, I would never have got the varnishing done if I hadn't have done that. But of course, the bills, the electricity bill was horrendous. Honestly, I can't even tell you what the bill was, but it was enough for my other half to be a little bit upset with me. And I had to basically, work out what the electricity bill would be this time round. And yeah, it was going to be a lot. Here goes. Now, if I do that and then do that one there. So if you turn around here, I'm doing the other end now, there. I'm hoping this will hold it down enough. Oh. That screw is a bit duff, isn't it? We need to get a different screw, because I'll never get that out if I put it back in again. Just so you know, I've got nothing under here. There's no electrics, anything like that. So that's that done nice and tight. Right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to try and flex this wood as I guess it would have been on the boat. To be like that. Like that. And then all we've got to do is make sure that is stuck down. That's one side done. I'll do the other side separately because I can't really do them both in one go. One mistake I have made here is perhaps I should have shaped the wood before I put it on the plastic. But I didn't, so we're just going to have to do that really carefully. All I want to do really is shape these corners off. Maybe the corner at the front needs doing. And we've just got to cut this about here. And then it's on. It's all a big learning curve, this. So, yeah. I think we'll probably be, this will only be Mark 1 of the cover. I think we'll be seeing a few versions of it. This is my old battery box. It's just been getting in the way, and one thing I noticed is how heavy that is compared to my new one. It has got a few, I don't even know what that is actually. It's got a few bits and bobs in it, but all this came with the battery box. Even that's heavy. Yeah, it just goes to show how much you live and learn. These have all got to go in there. It's a piece of metal. And the shroud. Okay. Become a bit of a storage box, yeah. It kind of worked apart. If I'd have sealed up these holes, it would have worked a bit better. I'm not going to throw it because I've got the space just to put it stowed in my workshop for now. But the thing is, I can't just throw it away because the wood is, it's coated in epoxy now. So hopefully we'll find another job, another place for that, or even might give it away. I'll ask some people down the club if they want it for their boat, but it is quite heavy. Yeah, it's shocking how heavy that is actually. And there's me worrying about this new one. Just a quick update on the weather. The weekend, it's really crazy. The weekdays have been a nightmare. Like, I literally can't get to the boat. And I've even noticed some of the channels I watch, they've all been putting their boats not on hard standing, but inside, covered places on the hard standings, at great expense. Well, I don't have that option with my boat, but I've just not been able to do a thing. It's been too cold or too wet. But this week, I'm hoping the weather changes a bit. It's certainly not raining, which is very refreshing. And tomorrow, touch wood, we'll be going in to see the boat and hopefully getting a whole load of stuff done. I really need to see some progress on the boat tomorrow. It's not like we've got a lot to do. It's just we've just got a lot of fiddly. We've just got these fiddly jobs. Bilge pumps are fiddly at the best of times. This battery box is fiddly, but if we can pull it off, it's going to be amazing. Things like that. So, this time tomorrow, I could be really happy if we made really good progress, and hopefully we can have another day in the boatyard this week as well. So I'm just charging up my little battery. Now, I have been charging this up with my power supply, and this is like a workbench power supply. You can put in any voltage in this thing and any ampage, but it does manage it. It will talk to lithium ion batteries, so it actually will charge the lithium ion battery up quite well. However, I don't think what it does is balances the cells very well. So you find that it literally switches off before it reaches the full charge for the battery. But actually, I found the original charger, which is here, which came with the original sort of all-in-one, all-powers battery that this little lithium-ion battery came with. Now, this has got all the management in it, and it will charge that battery up no problem. However, it's got a couple of problems. We've all got used to fast charging, haven't we, these days? Well, this battery's so old that it doesn't have that. So this actually is a classic 12 volt 10 amp charger. However, it's not going to give that full 10 amps when it's getting close to charge, full charge. It's going to drop down and trickle, so it does actually, what people don't realize is, lithium-ion batteries do take quite a long time to charge that last 10-20%. Otherwise, you just damage the battery. So that is taking its time. However, it was on 12.41. 12.6 would be full. And I'm just now going to check through here. I can check it with just by getting any live coach. Yeah, 12.48, 4748. So it's gone up 10% in about an hour, which I think's about right. It'll probably charge the main battery up in 2 to 3 hours, and then the remaining 20% in an hour to 2, something like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave this in. I'm hoping when the batteries are full, we're going to see a little green light here. It's got literally 0.10 of a volt to go. 0.1 of a volt to go. So then what we're going to do is just check that battery holds its voltage, because that's the worry as well. It's quite old and it's just not holding its voltage. Now, one thing I wanted to just show you here was I've actually created this little cable. So this cable here used to connect up to this little cable. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. There. So this is connected to the solar charger and actually connects the battery to the solar charger. I've actually got the other leads in the battery that connect to the solar panel or the input of this. I used to have to sort of take this off and then use like a little thing with those gripper things. But now this is much safer because it won't sort of short out. So when I'm finished charging, I'll just plug that into this here and take this little cable and leave the cable in there probably. And then I know that, I'm always able to charge it from a 12 volt source. As long as you keep the voltage to about 12.8 volt maximum, it's gonna be good for the battery. You have to remember this battery is a lithium ion, so it uses 3.7 volt nominal volt charged batteries. So actually, look, if you look up here, you can see, this came off the whole all-in-one battery case that this is on. And you'll see on here, where's the voltage? So look, DC output, 9 to 12.6 volt. So the 12.6 volt means a lithium ion battery is fully charged, not a lithium ferrous phosphate. The newer ones, they are actually about 13.3 or 13.4 and can be between that, to indicate fully charged. This is lithium ion. The nominal voltage is 11.1 volts. So really, it says 9 volt to 12.6 volt. Really, I think if you get below 10, you need to start thinking about charging the battery up. Otherwise, you're going to damage it. 9 is quite low, to be honest with you. It's the lowest I'd want to go. But 9 would be fully empty. So that you have a rough idea then of how much battery you've got left. I noticed this has kind of stuck quite quickly. It probably needs another day to cure properly. But it has stuck. It's missed a couple of little places. And a little bit high here, but it's okay. We've got there. And so I've done the other side. So I've renewed the pole. You can see how bent it is, can't you, look, when you look at it. And that one's held down quite nicely. This was the old port side one, but as you can see, the top of that one snapped. So it's no good to us. We've got a spare one there. So I think once these are done, we'll cut the lengths off a little bit. So I think we could cut the length off to sort of here. That should be more than adequate. Then we can probably just put a stitch in the Velcro each side. And then we screw that onto the boat. We've kind of got a rudimentary spray cover working. Just going to check the battery for voltage. What does it say? Oh, 12.6 still. That's good. That's really good news. So the battery's holding its voltage, I'm sure. It says load on, which is annoying. That load needs to not be on, but there's nothing on the load here. So that's for if you want a little light to go on and off, and it's in nighttime mode at the moment. So I need to just sort that maybe, but yeah, it's definitely working, or the battery's definitely holding its charge anyway.